Here we are in December. December is that time of year that's complicated. And one thing that I can say is very complicated is this new movie that's come out on Amazon Prime starring Eddie Murphy. It's called Candy Cane Lane. If you've seen it, let me know what you think about it. Because, okay, here's the premise if you haven't seen it. Eddie Murphy, great, cool. Christmas movie, a new Christmas movie? Awesome. You know, it's fun to watch Christmas movies with the family, but this is the premise. Eddie Murphy stars in this holiday comedy adventure about a man on a mission to win his neighborhood's annual Christmas home decoration contest and inadvertently makes a deal with a mischievous elf that brings the 12 days of Christmas to life. Now, this elf, she is not just mischievous, she's borderline evil. And I think they're trying to bring these elements of like horror into a Christmas movie. And for me, it was all over the place. Anyway, the reason I'm talking about this is that that's a mixed bag. That movie's a mixed bag. December is a mixed bag. We can have all these feelings of joy and happiness and holiday cheer. It's all awesome stuff. But on the flip side, there can be a lot of sadness, melancholy, memories from the past. There's just something about this time that can get very stressful, can be very overwhelming. And in this video, I'm talking about the Sagittarius New Moon. And hopefully if you're feeling that overwhelm, probably don't watch that Eddie Murphy movie, but you can if you want. If you're feeling that overwhelm, I have some thoughts on what can help. The main idea, like the magic word that I want you to think about, is the word simplicity. And that's a good time to tell you about my newsletter. My newsletter is coming out. It's not like your normal newsletter. It's more of, I don't know even what to call it. It's probably pretty weird, just like the Eddie Murphy movie, but better, not bad weird, good weird. Anyway, it's just different. The whole theme of this next volume of the Excellent Sixth is simplicity. You can sign up for the newsletter in the description below. The new moon in Sagittarius happens on December 12th. And what is a new moon? Quickly, it's basically a conjunction of the sun and the moon where they're sitting on the same degree of the zodiac. And this time they're co-present Mars in Sagittarius. It's within an orb of conjunction to Mars. And they're in a square to Neptune in Pisces. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. Jupiter's in Taurus. Taurus is in aversion to Sagittarius, which means Jupiter cannot see from where it is in Taurus to its Sagittarian homeland, okay? So they're not making any aspects. There may be a great desire right now for you to look ahead to the new year that's approaching. And you might be thinking about what you're excited about learning or doing in the new year. What kind of quest of learning experiences that you're wanting to pursue or you're interested in. Mars in Sagittarius is empowering this with a fiery drive for understanding. And Sagittarius represents your need to expand your horizons, the horizons of your mind, the horizons of your world. It's truth-seeking, it's optimistic, it's adventurous. That's what's coming online. But now, Mars is like, yo, let's go. I'm not gonna bring out my Rocky impression again. Anyway, Mars is pushing, right? Mars pushes. But while you have that feeling and that desire and that drive, like the horses are at the starting gate, there could be a bit of friction in going. And that's because the new moon is square to Neptune. And that's in Pisces. So that can add some disillusion, some form of confusion in a way. Like maybe you're not quite sure what you're passionate about. Where are you going to place that energy? The ruler of this new moon is Jupiter. And Jupiter's in Taurus. Taurus appreciates the beauty of slow, simple, steady. Simple and slow are concepts that have sort of been co-opted and flipped into some kind of negative thing. Slow and simple. Those are words that are synonymously used with stupid. And this could not be further from the truth. Okay, I want you to look at this quote from one of the smartest people of all time, Leonardo da Vinci. He says, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. It takes discernment. It takes respect for time. Simplicity is not easy, doesn't mean it's easy. And our world is speeding up at such a rate that many of us are having a hard time assimilating. So we need to take those moments back. Astrology can be like this too. It can be overwhelming. You've probably heard me say before, slow astrology, not really needing to know every little nitpicky detail, you know? It's better sometimes to just be in the moment. Our world is speeding up. That's the bottom line. And it doesn't always feel good. That's what Jupiter in Taurus is saying right now. Sometimes we need to just slow down and focus on things that are pleasurable and sensual and earthy, just Taurus stuff. Let's talk about the Sabian symbol. This one's kind of interesting and fun. It's a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses. And the concept of this is walking in the shoes of the master. Here's what Burgess says. By copying the behavior and the ideas of an awakened being, we're likelier to awaken ourselves, receiving guidance from a true master. If we want to progress, we must emulate someone who is ahead of us on the path and copy their way of doing things. So this is interesting, this dog wearing glasses, walking with a child. It really points us again to simplicity, I think. The wisdom of a dog. The dog, simple wisdom of a dog. A dog doesn't really need much to be happy. Now, a dog with glasses is a metaphor that's potentially layering on maybe the best of both worlds. The simple needs of the dog for satisfaction and an ability of like a human ability to reason and make thoughtful decisions. Now let's add another layer here, some of that potential confusion because of the square to Neptune and Pisces. Where do we want to point our active drive? Where's this quest that we want to take on? The search for meaning. We see the message here, and a dog is a companion, okay? But this is a different kind of dog because the dog is emulating the human, the master. So maybe it's time to find the teacher. Maybe it's time to find a teacher, and that could be somebody that's just a little bit ahead of you on the path, or somebody that's a master in the things that you're interested in exploring and understanding. And the thing I want to talk about is how it's okay to emulate or copy the master. Now back to Da Vinci himself. It's total master in so many things. He spent hours and hours in nature studying colors, shapes, anatomy. The youthful apprenticeship that he had to go and copy the hand of the artist that he was working on in order to learn. It wasn't until he got mastery from that guidance that he was able to ascend to his unique artistic expression. And it stands out, like his first painting, there's an angel, and it's like, that's Da Vinci right there. But in order to get to that point, he had to copy. Another example, teenagers, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. They used to play rock and roll records in Paul's bedroom and study them until they knew the DNA code of these rock and roll songs. They figured out the chords, the notes, the harmonies. They were inspired by Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, and of course Elvis himself. They even copied his cool hairdo. And without this copying, there would be no Beatles. They had to copy first before they could be their own unique entity. The late Steve Jobs is famous for saying, good artists copy, great artists steal. And he was probably misquoting Pablo Picasso, who said, lesser artists borrow, great artists steal. Now, Picasso might be rephrasing Igor Stravinsky, who said, a good composer doesn't imitate, he steals. And Faulkner allegedly phrased it, immature artists copy, great artists steal. Now, all of those sayings may originate from T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot, he said this, immature poets imitate, mature poets steal, bad poets deface what they take, and good poets make it into something better, or at least something different. The good poet welds his theft into a whole of feeling which is unique, utterly different than that from which it is torn. So you can see, even in this little lineup of people, they were all stealing each other's quote. I mean, it's the same quote. Incredibly successful artists in all areas do this again and again and again. So what's the point? If you don't feel like you're ready to trailblaze on your own, then maybe find somebody to copy or learn from someone to guide you. Because when you're trying to get your footing, a foundation that's made from practicing and imitating is really strong. It's good. Because then you can start being more creative. You need to learn first. You can play within that new ability that you have, thanks to walking in the shoes of the master. Yeah. Now, one more thing about the Sabian symbol that came up right away subconsciously was that cartoon of Mr. Peabody, that dog, and his boy Sherman. He wears glasses, and it's to indicate his intelligence, his evolution as something more than a dog. He's like a genius or something that adopted the boy. Anyway, so if you saw my backseat of the car video where I was talking about the analogy of the Wizard of Oz, I'm super excited about that. I am working on that as well. Today I was doing the newsletter finishing up the newsletter, and part of it was talking about the Sagittarius New Moon. And so I thought, well, probably should say more about that. But to be honest, like I said in the video, I'm not too into all these little minutia details of astrology. There's a lot of people that do it really well on the internet, and you can find a lot of information that you want. My interest is to sort of pull back from that a little bit right now and not be so into every single move. There's certain times where it has to just get more simple. And that's where I am right now. So kind of practice what I preach. So my idea is to maybe do a little more content that's a little less time bound and a little more timeless. And I feel like the understanding of your planets through the analogy that we talked about with the Wizard of Oz is a way to do that. When we understand ourselves, when we understand who we are and what we need, and we put effort into that, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Why? It's because we can only control ourselves. We can only control our own lives. And if we put a lot of effort into our own understanding, then we're full, and we can help other people. We can be guides for other people. We can be a beacon of love and kindness, and just be happy. Just be happy. I mean, nothing wrong with that. All right, I think that's all I've got. I like you so much, just the way you are. Simple as that. And I'll talk to you next time.